Hi, hello. Today we're here to talk about how you can improve your artwork, but first I want to give credit where credit is due. So I'm working on this shadow heart piece that is originally from an Instagram post by, I believe you pronounce it, Agile. I'm going to link them or tag them in the description, but they are the original inspiration for the shadow heart piece, and I'm really inspired by the way they paint and the way they view colors. I think it's just really pretty. So we're going to be taking that picture and doing a study on my Wacom Cintiq 16. I don't use this tablet very often, but I really want to get better at it, and part of my New Year's resolution has been to work on things that scare me or work on things that I have trouble doing. So we're just taking the bull by the horns and doing some painting studies on my Wacom Cintiq. So before I started the video, I actually already had this sketch made. It's a lot harder for me to sketch on camera than anything else. I think I just get like all in my head about the camera being out, and so the sketch always ends up wonky, so I just sketched it first to try and like eliminate that problem. So we just went straight into the painting. So first I took the sketch and lowered the opacity so that the lines weren't as harsh. I'm pretty sure Agile does like a really nice fine line work, but I'm really bad with line work. I know this was like all about doing stuff that I'm like not as good at, but I really wanted to learn more than anything how to digitally paint. So line work wasn't the goal for this study, the painting portion of it was. And I'm really glad with how the end result turned out. One thing that I noticed that this program, I'm using Clip Studio Paint, one thing I noticed about this program that tends to be better than Procreate is that I can actually just blend with the brush that I'm already using instead of going directly to the blend setting. That's really helpful, but also really confusing when I was first trying to figure that out. I've been using what I'm pretty sure is like a hard gouache brush that's on their free settings of like brushes that you can download when you first open the app. Really big fan. So anyways, I lowered the opacity, so now I'm just painting, and then occasionally I will turn on that sketch layer and darken it to see how everything is looking with what would essentially be some sort of line art, because the hope was to clean up the sketch at the very end, which is what I did. And as you can see, we're like progressing to the hair, and I'm not very good with hair. It's easier if you do it in like bigger sections and then even it out some later. This is me taking the sketch and bumping up the opacity because that messy stage is super scary. But anyways, it's easier to color hair in like bigger chunks than go in and refine it, but that refinement part is so hard for me. I don't know why. I feel like it's just easier for me to shade bigger and highlight bigger with hair, so that's just what I end up doing. But you'll see how it progresses. Alright, now we are working on the eyebrows. Shadow Heart's eyebrows are a very prominent part of her face. She has very like darkish bluish / purplish hair, but her eyebrows are, I feel like, a little bit darker than her natural hair color, and that was a big thing that I liked about Agile's take on Shadow Heart, was how prominent and lovely her eyebrows looked. So I'm trying to replicate that here. Obviously, I'm not as good with hair as they are, but that's what we're doing this study for, to get better. But speaking of Shadow Heart in Boulder Gates 3, I have done like 3 playthroughs of this game. Never finished a single one because I'm horrible at actually finishing things, but I got all the way through, almost fully through Act 2, and never once have I been able to romance Shadow Heart. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, if that's just user error, or maybe it's just harder to romance her until Act 3. Someone let me know, because it has been absolutely impossible for me to romance her. The only people I've been able to romance are Asterion and Gale, and that's it. And I won't say I'm a Gale hater, but if there's a vampire to be romanced, then I will be romancing the vampire, and that's all. Or obviously lovely woman, Shadowheart, but that hasn't worked for me, so let me know. So now in the illustration, we're just working on like rendering those eyes, and I still have the sketch down to very minimum capacity. I think it was at like 20% sketch opacity, and I'm just going in and adding all those darker values to the eyes. Now I'm realizing after looking at the reference that the amount of space that I had for her eyelid to apply her makeup on, I did not have as much space as Agiel did on their Instagram post. So I realized that after the fact. Also, you'll see at the very end, the eyes end up being a little bit wonky, but that's okay. I still really ended up liking how this turned out. So now we're at my favorite portion of this speed paint, or I guess you could consider this a speed paint. I'm adding in those really dark values, like the eyeliner and some of the highlights, and doing the eyelashes. I feel like something about the eyelashes really pulled this all together, and it was really fun to do. I don't typically ever do eyelashes like this, which you'll see me do them in a second. I'm also going over the eye and adding a bit more value in like pupils and things like that. I also feel like this close up you can really see how well that nose is rendered. It reminds me a little bit of Arcane, where it's like a kind of slightly messy, organized painting style with a little bit of sketch lines. Like, I feel like I can really see the bridge of that nose painted out. That's why I really enjoy doing studies like these. It really helps me improve where I feel like I'm falling flat on my own art, and helps me do things like learn how to use a Wacom tablet, because if it's already something that I know I'm going to be inexperienced in, why not just go the extra mile? Also, you can kind of see Agiel's sketch, or you could see it now the clip has changed. Agiel's sketch down at the corner. I just had it up on my iPad and was looking at it from time to time when I needed the reference. And here I am adding highlights on the nose. I really liked adding the highlights. That was super fun for me. But my favorite part of all of this is how these eyes are looking. Now, I still have this sketch lowered to like 20% opacity. So right now everything's looking good until you zoom out, and then everything else still looks really sketchy except these eyes. So I'll go in and fix that up some later. This portion feels like a reward. It's so satisfying. So I turn the sketch all the way up to maximum opacity, and then I just erased around the eyes or anywhere else that I had like fully rendered out. And it was so nice to really see it all come together, but also have the sketch give my art stability where it needed it. Like, for example, in the hair where I hadn't fully rendered it out yet. But erasing over these eyes was my favorite part of the entire drawing. I really feel like it pulled it all together. I feel like it made her scar less prominent where it needed to be, and it just made everything so much cleaner. I found that working on this, doing this study, oh, there's my cat, doing this study really helped me improve where I was falling flat on my digital art, because I feel like most of the time my digital art ends up looking just very flat and boring, and I never for sure how to like remedy that or fix it. So taking some of the creators that you love and taking bits and pieces of what you love about their art and transforming it into your own artwork can be so helpful, on top of like doing the anatomy studies that you need to do, which nobody likes doing studies. I hate doing studies. It's every artist's weakness, studies. But after doing this and learn what I learned, not only can I see myself using my Wacom tablet more, but I really feel like I can understand how to add that level of digital painting into my illustrations that makes it more appealing. I just really think that digital painting is a skill that I really struggle with. So I really feel like taking this experience and taking this artwork and putting it down digitally has really helped me visualize how I can do this better in my own artworks. But I really think you should look at Agiel's Instagram. He is an absolutely amazing artist. He brings so much life into his work, and it almost looks perfect in a way that's kind of intimidating. Like I said, I'm going to put their Instagram in the link in the description, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I had a lot of fun making it, and it's imperfect, but I think it turned out really pretty, and I think you could learn a lot from doing studies